I'm at the corner of US 19 and Alderman. I've been at South State for 3.5 years. Been in banking all of my life. As many of you know, my father was a banker. I started working in his bank in 6th grade. I lived a very, very blessed life. We traveled. I got to have private skating lessons. I pretty much got anything and everything I wanted, but my brother and I always had to work. Never in my life have had a summer to myself. We used to get on the school bus and go down to the bank, and I'd roll a coin and I'd shred paper and whatever he needed us to do. We never really complained about it. It just is really the only life that my brother and I ever knew. But as we got older and I could be client facing, I worked in bookkeeping, the proof department, I was a teller, I did new accounts, I did loans, I was the bank receptionist, and when I was 16 and my mother got a brand new car, she let me take that car out with my girlfriends and I promptly totaled it, rear-ended another car because I was gawking at some boys that were on the sidewalk, and then I got to be the janitor for the next year. And that was to teach me a lesson. I didn't get that money. Every single paycheck I got went to my mother for that car. They didn't let me drive probably for another year. I mean, it was just terrible. You know, and like back then in the 80s, you know, I'd have to give my girlfriends like $3 gas money to come get me because my parents wouldn't let me drive. But I went away to Minneapolis to college. Some of you also know I never intended to be a banker. I wanted to be a flight attendant. It's all I ever wanted to do. My dad had a plane. We flew all the time. Out of flight attendant school, my first flight, the plane dropped. It went sideways and I thought I was gonna die. I had absolutely no backup plan other than I was never gonna fly again. Moved back home with my parents, again working in the bank, and then the rest is history. What I did discover out of that is I didn't want to stay in Minnesota because 60 below with a wind chill is just not for me. So came to Florida back in 1987, met my husband over here on a business trip in '89, and we've been together ever since. We have 2 kids, 23 and 29, 2 boys. They're definitely the gift that keeps on giving. But I always say God gave them to me because no other mother is strong enough to deal and put up with it. I don't know where they get their type A personalities, but if you know my husband and I, it's a toss of a coin which one they're really take after. I gave you a package here today, not so much that I want you to read it, but there's some resources in here because to me it's all about helping others and giving back to the community. On the first page, it just kind of talks about some of the things that I can do. Business lending, we have some really streamlined programs out there. We are a preferred lender with the SBA. So anytime you or someone you know is interested in an SBA loan, I partner with SBA specialists. We have 2 different programs for under $350,000 and over $350,000. So SBA is something South State Bank specializes in. We still have the business checking program, $400 for a new business account, $200 for a new personal account. Protecting your business, you've heard me talk about fraud. Fraud is so terrible right now. It just is, we just don't even know how to stop it. For the last week, I've been driving over to Tampa, helping down at the Kennedy office. They don't have a manager, so right now, in addition to everything else in my life, I'm managing 2 branches. The fraud that I've seen come through, I mean, these are accounts that have $2 million, $6 million in them, and they're having fraud. But they have, the good news is they have the positive pay services and they have the fraud prevention services with us. So that $2 million, $6 million is still sitting in that account. The headache is on me to deal with all of it. The headache's not so much on the client to deal with it. But whether you have $2,000 in your account or $2 million in your account, fraud's a problem, and you need to be working with your banker at your bank to make sure that you have the most up-to-date fraud prevention to protect your money. It's really not a joke at this point. It's just really not. We have lockbox services, ACH services. Of course, we have services that you can do wires online. If you're a business that processes wires, you don't ever have to come to the bank to do wires. On the second page, a little bit about South State. We're $66 billion in assets, $48 million in loans, $54 billion in deposits, 6,000 plus employees, 340 plus branches. Florida, Texas, Carolinas, Georgia, Colorado, Alabama, Virginia, Tennessee, and we very much believe in local leadership. What that means is that I make the decisions in Pinellas County for Pinellas County customers, for my market. I have a city president that we report to. We have Angel Gonzalez over in Tampa, who's our regional president, but we make local decisions. We're not waiting on somebody in Alabama to tell me whether or not a loan is going to be approved. We're waiting on me, or we're waiting on my local city president. That's very, very rare to find nowadays in a bank our size. I'm really proud to work with South State. You can see on the bottom corner there, we're voted one of the best banks to work for, and I can tell you that this is an amazing bank. What they do for their employees and how they care about us and how they treat us, I've never seen such a thing before, but it helps us attract some of the best talent. If any of you have worked with those in my office, you know that I'm so blessed. Like, I have the best of the best, and I'm so appreciative that the bank allows me to pay these people well, treat these people well, and keep them happy. But we're also one of the best banks in the Southeast for customers to deal with because of our leadership and our culture. It's all about culture to us. That's a big word. Culture. The next page, Heather talked about it, the 0% credit card for business or personal, 24 months, 0%. That's a big deal on balance transfers or new purchases, especially at this time of year. We have businesses that have debt that are transferring that debt onto this 0% card. We have homeowners, individuals doing their Christmas shopping, whatever it might be. 0% for 24 months, it gives people breathing room. Credit card's not always the right option though, so any of your customers or any of you that are considering that, just give me a call and let's talk about it, because it might be a better option. What we don't ever want is someone to put a bunch of money on a credit card and then end up having it be 30%. The last two pages, I know I'm out of time, those are the most important. These are local resources for you in the community to help your business through economic development and through the store. So please just take a minute to look at those. I'm sorry I ran